I'm so excited to be here with Leticia Colon de Mejias, and we're going to be interviewing her on a couple of questions on her book and her business. So my first question is, what inspired you to write Louis and the Giant?
Well, thank you so much for having me here and for interviewing me. I feel so special in this moment. I wrote Louis and the Giant right after my father passed away. My dad was wicked cool. He walked on fire. He was a Native American from the island of Puerto Rico, and he was very ingrained in our Taino traditions. But the thing about my dad that was the coolest was he taught me to have no fear. And so I wanted to embody that in a book.
Who do you feel that you relate to most in Louis and the Giant?
If I was to pick a character in Louis and the Giant, I would say I definitely relate to Louis because it is the embodiment of my actual father. So one of my favorite lines in the book is based on a game my dad and I used to play. So when I was a little girl and it was time for bed, my dad would do this silly thing and he would kind of march around the house and he would say, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of a Puerto Rican." And we would all be like, "Ah!" And we would all run and hide just before bed. And growing up, I didn't know that it was actually I smell the blood of an Englishman. I actually thought that the real book was I smell the blood of a Puerto Rican. And so when I got older and I read the actual story, I thought, wow, how creative my dad was to just take something that already existed and spin it like just for me and for my brothers and sisters. And so I felt sad as an adult that other children didn't have that same fun or the same way of using words that my dad taught us, that words are the most important things that we can have. Because words, when written into books, can outlive us. So after my dad passed, I thought, I wanted to honor his memory in a special way. And I thought this would be a way for other people to have the joy of my father without ever meeting him, because they could get the silly rhymes like this one. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of a Puerto Rican. Be he skinny or be he fat, I'll use his belly to make my jelly. And I thought, any child will think that's funny.
And how did you go into your business?
So I'm an entrepreneur and I have a few businesses, and I actually started my first business when I was young. I was little and I wanted to make soap. I thought that soap was something that could be made. And so I asked my grandmother if she could help me make soap. So she didn't know how, so we had to learn together. And I would make soap and I would try and sell it. It wasn't very successful, to be honest with you. No one wanted to buy soap from a kid. But what I learned from it was that if you have an idea and you keep at it, you can make it real. And my dad was always telling me that if you think it and you say it and you plan it and you can do it, then you've made it real. And ultimately, the books, the businesses, all of them were just simply ideas. And if we think about all the ideas that we have as people that we don't ever follow through on, we suddenly realize all the opportunities we might be missing. For me, businesses are just an embodiment of an opportunity that I can share with someone else. Because when I have a business, I can hire people, pay them money, work with them daily, and help them change their lives. Like when I write a book, it passes on even though I'm not there. So there are people in other countries that have read this book that I've never met. And anything that anyone writes and puts into words could truly outlive them. And that's really why I create things in general. I like to create.
Yeah. And where do you see Word Warriors going in the future?
Well, I hope that Word Warriors will be part of you. My hope is that Word Warriors will grow over time and that young people's ideas, and they're working together and coming together over those ideas and writing scripts and creating plans and then implementing them or doing voiceovers. My other thought is that maybe some of the young people that are working in this will inspire others, right? It's like a fire that's lit inside of us. And as we work together, hopefully we can inspire other people beyond Sage Park and St. Gabriel's to use their creative juices to write stories, to share ideas, and to create things together. And my hope is that those things will be both educational and inspirational.
And you said you were a kid entrepreneur. What would you say to other kid entrepreneurs that are trying to start a business?
Oh my goodness, that's such a good question. Well, for any kid entrepreneurs that are out there wanting to start a business, I think the most important thing to know is that it's not about binge viewing. It's all about binge doing. If you want to get something done, you have to take some actionable steps towards it. And actually, an answer to your last question is, when I started my businesses, the first thing I actually gave up was binge watching television. So for me, I've come full circle in creating a television show with young people, because giving up television opened space in my life to write books, create businesses, build tiny houses, make parks, and really train others for clean energy careers. And I volunteer and do all kinds of things, like work with NIAC, the federal government that oversees the EPA. None of those things could have been possible if I didn't invest in myself and in my community. I both went within and I went out seeking other good people like you and the other students here and the folks at Win TV and those behind the camera. No one does anything alone. And so it's important that we go out in the world and talk with people and meet with people, hear their ideas, and then reflect them back out so that we can all be in the moment together, that we can move forward, and that no one should really be suffering if we really take the time to look up, look out, and connect in the real world, or even like this. And we're creating a future that will be better, more resilient, more reliable, and hopefully will lift all people.
Is there any final words that you have to say to the people watching this?
I hope that anyone watching this will go inside themselves and think about ways that they too can be word warriors. How can you use your most powerful tool, the voice within you, to create things that will move others to action, to have prosperity, and to help them reach their dreams?
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for having me.
I forgot the name.
And the spelling.
I am the floor manager. I tell everybody when to start, when to stop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action.
So what do you do?
I'm back here with Marquise, and we're switching between cuts. Marquise is gonna was gonna hit record and not record, and I'm cutting between scenes. We're gonna.
Isabella, I have the opportunity to interview you about your experience with Louis and the Giant and in producing Word Warriors. Regarding Louis and the Giant, who is your favorite character?
I do love Luis, but I also love the Giant. But I personally would have to go with Luis because he overcomes his challenges, and no matter how many obstacles he had to endure, he still pushed through all of them.
Oh, I love that answer. And in creating Word Warriors, what was the most exciting part for you as a student working with other students?
It was very entertaining to work with the other students. I will say that all of them keep me on my toes because you never know what the next move is going to be with them.
That's awesome. And what do you think people will take away from the way you all brought the story to life?
I think people will be a bit more engaged with it because we are presenting a more, I don't know how to phrase it, but we are bringing the story out to them. We are speaking it to them, and we are engaging them in it. So I believe that they'll be a bit more in tune and engaged.
Bringing it to life. And I haven't seen the voiceover yet, so I'm going to be just as surprised as the audience when this is released. But I'm just so honored to be here with you. It's exciting to see the students and the directing of the students and the ideas that you all had. And I'm just thankful to you and all the students in Win TV for the opportunity to participate in this collaboration. And I hope that people love the work that you all have done. Thank you again.
You're welcome.